Coming off a season in which we had over 500 collective views, we are back with the longest living series on the channel. It's season 6. Ben is here. I am here. And let's get to it. Nick's Picks season 6 is here. Let's fucking go. Welcome back, Ben. How are we doing?
I woke up about like an hour ago. So I'm still a little tired, but
yeah,
you know, we'll be fine.
We're a little late this year. On our preseason picks. I've been getting all of the, memories, notifications that, I posted the preseason picks like 2 weeks ago last year or a week ago last year or something. And we're just now recording this and there's 2 weeks until the NFL season. A lot has happened this offseason since the last time we've gotten on here and talked football. So what we're going to do for these preseason picks is we're going to talk about all the things that have happened here in the offseason. We're going to run through our preseason selections for each division, and then we're going to give you guys our Super Bowl selections. So let's get right into it. Welcome back to Nick's Picks. I didn't even say it this episode. What is going on, guys? And yeah, I'm rusty.
Right.
I'm rusty. All right. So obviously the biggest news out of this out of this offseason, I mean, there really wasn't, I think, one thing over the other. But as you guys know, we are Giants and Falcons fans. So for me, obviously the Giants had a very good draft in my opinion, probably the best draft that they've had in years. Could not be more happy with how the Giants maintained their draft. You weren't too upset with the Falcons. I mean, we were trying to bait you the entire time saying they would take Shitter Sanders, and unfortunately, the Falcons were finally smart for once, and they actually had a good draft.
You know what? Miracles do happen. I mean, we got two pass rushers, which we need. Defense is still a little shaky. I'll touch on it when we go to the South, but
yeah.
I'm feeling optimistic. So
honestly, besides that, Shitter Sanders dropping to the 5th round of the draft was a huge deal for a lot of people. Me and Ben both aren't. For Mel Kiper, yeah. Me and Ben aren't super big fans of him or think very highly of his future in the NFL. And, I don't hate the guy or anything like that, but just don't see it working out considering you went 13-12 in Colorado, but is what it is.
Hey, but his number's retired.
Yeah, but they retired his number. Aaron Rodgers went to the Steelers. There was a couple of other free agent moves. No really big ones that are jumping out to me. DK Metcalf is a Steeler. George Pickens is now a Cowboy, I believe. Yep. Yeah, so a lot of moving around, a lot of this and that. The Giants have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston now, which is crazy. The Falcons are going to be starting Michael Penix Jr. So, we'll see how that goes for them. And Kyle Pitts might actually get touches, so draft him in fantasy. Beyond that, nothing too crazy that happened in the preseason this year. It's not like the previous preseasons that we've had where people like Saquon Barkley and every other running back in the market switches teams. I mean, this year it was kind of a little bit of a dull. So there's nothing left to do but get right into it. Let's get into our preseason predictions, and we will start in the North. So in the AFC North, in 4th place in the division, I have the Cleveland Browns. I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to do all that well because it's Cleveland and they don't even have a really good quarterback. In 3rd place in the division and still somehow finishing above 500, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am actually going to give them an above 500 record when I put it down at the bottom, because how do you bet against it at this point? I understand it's Aaron Rodgers. I understand the Steelers don't have anybody, but they just do it every fucking year. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to finish 2nd in this division, but I do think this is going to be a huge step up for the Bengals from last season, and then finishing it out, the Baltimore Ravens, of course.
Yeah, no, I only disagree with one of you, or one of your picks. I'm switching to. I think the Steelers are going to be the bottom. I had them finishing the same record because I think they're both just ass.
They are both ass, but somehow, some way, the Steelers are going to finish above 500. I don't know how, but it's going to happen.
They probably will, but I just don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. That's just how I look at it.
Moving on to the NFC North, and I am going to shock the world with this one. In 4th place in the NFC North, I have the Minnesota Vikings, who finished very well last season, but it's not that I don't trust JJ McCarthy. I just think it's too early, and this is a pretty good division now. In 3rd place, I do have the Chicago Bears. Chicago, I do think got better this offseason, especially at the O-line, but they're not quite Lions or Packers level yet. And here's where I shock the world. In 2nd place, I have the Detroit Lions. I am not kissing Slower's ass, I promise you. I am not. But I think the Detroit Lions take a huge step back this year. They did not help their defense that much. And while I do believe in Dan Campbell and I do believe in Jahmyr Gibbs and this Detroit Lions offense, I just think the Packers are more talented. I really do.
You don't shock the world when I almost completely agree with you. This is quite literally, this is so simple. It's the same as the AFC North. I have the Bears finishing last and I have the Vikings finishing third, but I have the Packers and the Lions like basically deadlocked, but I'm with you on it. I think
they just have more talent. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that. I just think the Lions defense, it's going, like, you can only it's the same way we saw with Cincinnati last year. You can only outscore for so much.
My biggest thing with this division is I think both of these teams were, record-wise, they weren't too close, but I do think that these teams were pretty even going into the end of last season.
Like roster-wise, yeah.
Yeah. The Packers did what they needed to do to build around Jordan Love. Lions didn't really build their defense that much. So it's really where I'm going with it. I think the Packers just had a better offseason. We move on to the AFC East into the Eastern divisions now, and I'm not shocking the world too much here. I think you're going to agree with most of these. I have you might disagree with this one. I have the Dolphins finishing last place in this division. I think they have the worst coach in this division. I don't believe in Tua. I feel kind of sorry for Tyreek Hill. And name me a defensive player on the Dolphins. Exactly. So
yeah, I got nothing.
I just don't think the Dolphins are going to do that well. I do have the Jets in a very close third place, and if you flip-flop those two, it is what it is. I don't really disagree with that too much. In second place, I do have the New England Patriots. Huge step forward for them this season. They might even slip into the wild card. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really make my playoff predictions, but I think the Patriots could potentially slip into a wild card this year if Drake May takes the step forward that I think he might, and then it's Buffalo. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm not going to say my number one. We both agree it's Buffalo. I actually have the Jets dead last.
Like I said, I don't think there's really much of a difference between the Jets and the Dolphins. I just, for the sake of the fact that I want to shit on the Dolphins and how bad I think their roster is, I have them finishing last. That's really the only reason I'm doing it.
I will say, I did think of one Dolphins defender, and it's Jalen Ramsey, and I only know that.
Didn't he get traded? No, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah, they had Jalen Ramsey.
Literally, all three, other than Buffalo, all finishing basically the same. Like, they're all like just there. And it's Buffalo, so we can move on.
Yeah, we get to my division. It is the NFC East, and I mean, the top two, let's just be real. It's Philly, it's Washington. I think Washington has a chance to win this division this year, but that's only if Philadelphia gets injured. Like if they have Saquon go down or if they have Jalen go down. But realistically, Philly's got the more talented roster. Philly is just stacked all the way across the board. They didn't do really too bad this offseason. Washington, right behind them, Jaden Daniels had a great year. I have the Giants third. I'm gonna do it. Because you know what? These preseason picks don't really mean anything. And I'm just out here to say some outlandish shit. And it really doesn't matter because the Giants aren't making the playoffs, let's be real. But the Giants are finishing third. I think the Cowboys are just going to have an atrocious season.
We can move on because I'm actually right with you. But I will add this, and this is my bold claim. The Cowboys will have a top 5 pick this year. They will be a top 5 pick in the draft. They are going to be so bad. They have no run game. All of their money is stacked between basically Dak and CD. You're not keeping Micah.
Yeah.
And he's your only defensive player. Like, do I need to say more as to how bad this Cowboys team is going to be? They're probably going to, this is what's going to, you know what's going to happen? They're going to pull a Saints from last year.
And they have just as tough of a schedule as the Giants do. The Giants' first 8 games, there's 6 playoff teams from last year in there. We go to the AFC West, and in the bottom of the division, this is actually a tough division, at least for me, to rate, but I think it's pretty consensus that the bottom team in this division is the Raiders. The Raiders aren't really a bad team. It's just everyone else in this division is a lot better. Then it gets tough. Then it gets tough. It really does. And as high as I am on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, I do think that they finished third this year in this division, mainly because I can't bet against the Chiefs. That's number one. And number two, I think the Chargers did everything that they need to do to finally have a good season. And I'm sick of picking the Chargers and them letting me down year after year after year. But that's why I'm only having them finish second in this division, and Kansas City is still going to walk away with the AFC West. As much as everyone hates it, as much as everyone wants to say that they are falling off and that the Super Bowl last year is them just starting their absolute fall from grace, it's not true. Let's just fucking be real.
Well, Call me crazy. I have the Chargers finishing first. I do have literally the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos all within like one
It's
game.
the definition of insanity when we keep doing the same shit over and over and over again and expect a different result, Ben. I'm sorry. I don't think so.
But to be fair, I do agree with you. I mean, obviously, I'm crazy not to think the Chiefs are gonna not make the playoffs. I'm not that crazy, but I do think that it's between the Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers. I think outside of the Raiders, this is the closest division. But I think the Chargers, literally just by the skin of their teeth, eke out. But like all three of these teams are gonna be bruised for the playoffs.
All right, so we move on to the NFC West, and this is another tough one, I think, at least in my opinion. And I think going into this, before this morning, I probably would have had a different team at fourth, but I've shot that team from fourth all the way to second, and we'll get to that in a second. In fourth place in this division, I still have the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think it's going to be
it for a second.
No, I don't think this is going to be a great year for Arizona. I had them third originally. I have them fourth now. I don't believe in Kyler Murray. That's really what it just comes down to. And I don't see, besides Marvin Harrison, there's no real playmakers on this team. I know people like to hype up James Conner a lot, but I think that hype is going to start dying here pretty soon because he's only getting older. In third place, this is where I might shake it up a little bit from you. I have the San Francisco 49ers. I have been on record in the last couple of streams and maybe even in a video or two. I'm not even sure if I mentioned it, but I'm not a huge fan of Brock Purdy. I don't think that he's that great of a quarterback. I think he benefited a lot from how stacked the 49ers were, and they're just not anymore. They just got Brian Robinson. I think it's a good pickup, even though CMC hopefully is healthy all season. You lost Deebo Samuel. You still have Kittle, but that O-line, Trent Williams isn't getting much younger. The O-line isn't getting any better. Their defense is starting to fall apart a little bit. I just don't believe in the 49ers all that much. I really don't. And then in second place, the team that I had shot up from originally, I thought them at fourth. Now they have them up to second in this division is the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold believer, but this O-line was worse last year, and they had Geno Smith, which I also believe is worse than Sam Darnold. And they finished 10-7 with a rookie head coach. That never really hit my brain until like just this morning, and I was like, honestly, Seattle could finish second. I could see it. And then in first place, I do have the Rams. I know there's a lot of questions about Matt Stafford and his age, but I just think the Rams, as far as a roster, are the more complete team in this division.
So I will say, we do agree with the Cardinals being dead last. I have the Seahawks finishing third because, like, even though I think last year was just kind of like they caught lightning in a bottle, I really just don't believe that O-line is gonna even be halfway decent. I have the Niners finishing second, barely above 500, because I'm with you on Purdy. I like Purdy, but I think the same reasons that you said. And I do have the Rams winning the division, but I'm not gonna lie, part of me wants to almost flip it to have Seattle because of Matt Stafford's health.
For me, Seattle could easily win this division, but if Matt Stafford or something drastic to the Rams goes down, I think Seattle runs away with this division. All right, and we accidentally skipped it earlier, but we're going back to it. We were supposed to go north, south, east, west, but we went north, east, west, south, but whatever. We're going into the AFC South and one of the shittier divisions in the NFL. I think Houston wins the division. I don't think that's too much of like a debate or anything like that. And to be completely honest with you, 2, 3, and 4 aren't making the playoffs anyway. So you can jumble these up all you want. For me personally, I think 2 will be Jacksonville. I think 3 will be Tennessee and 4 will be Indianapolis. I'm sorry. I want to give Daniel Jones a little bit of props, but when you have Daniel Jones starting over your round 1 pick 4 or 5 quarterback in only his second year,
basically second year, yeah.
Like, come on. I'm not a huge Anthony Richardson fan either. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback, but we gave Daniel Jones 5 years in New York. You can't give Anthony Richardson 2?
White privilege. Anyways,
wow, whoa.
We can cut that out.
Well, we made it 6 seasons before we got canceled.
I'm with you. Like literally, like
everyone
standing wise, like it's the same. Like it's Houston, and I mean, I think Jacksonville.
They could have a good season if Trevor Lawrence can actually play up to his potential.
I think if Trevor Lawrence plays to what he was projected to be when he was drafted, I think the Jags can actually win the division.
Yeah, and then finally we ended off with your division, and I mean, I think the bottom 2 we're going to agree on, the Saints and the Panthers.
Yep.
Do you have Panthers Saints like I do?
Saints dead last.
Saints dead last? Okay, yeah, exactly. So then, are you ballsy? Do you think the Falcons can actually win this division? Or are you like me and you know that Tampa's the more talented team and Tampa's going to win this division?
They know right now. Michael Penix Jr. He's going to be like Jaden Daniels. He's going to be Tom Brady. No, I'm just fucking kidding. It's Tampa's division.
It's Tampa's division.
You
need something drastic to happen to Tampa. Like, you need Baker to go down. Like, honestly, even if Mike Evans goes down,
Baker, the only way that Atlanta wins the division is there's two reasons. If Michael Penix is anywhere close to what his draft class is, but if he's not, the only way to win the division is if
Baker goes
down. Like,
and you learn how to use Bijan Robinson properly. But
I don't know anymore, dude.
All right, so with all that being said, we're not going to go through each playoff team. We're just going to give our top four, or we're just going to give our final four for the AFC and the NFC championship, and then our Super Bowl winners. So my final four in the AFC for the AFC championship, this is tough, but I do think it's going to be Buffalo versus Baltimore. At some point, it's got to happen, right? At some point, we have to have an AFC championship without the Kansas City Chiefs, right? I don't know. I don't know. But, and Buffalo, Baltimore just seems like kind of, casual pick, but it is what it is. These are, in my opinion, the two best teams put together in the AFC. And even if Kansas City were to make the AFC championship, I don't think that changes the fact that Baltimore and Buffalo are the two best teams in the AFC. The only reason this doesn't happen is when they have to meet each other in the divisional round instead. It's annoying as shit. It is what it is. And then in the NFC, this is another tough one, and I really don't know which way I want to lean with this. Like I said, I promise you guys, I am not sucking Slower's dick.
Giving him some unnecessary glazing.
But I have the Packers going up against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, in which unfortunately I do think the Packers lose that game, but that's a step up. They made an NFC Championship game, so be proud of me, Slower. That's probably farther than you realistically would have them. And then, so it would be the Eagles going up against, in my opinion, this is the matchup I wanted to see last year. We didn't get to see it. I think we have a good chance at getting it this year. It's the Buffalo Bills. I think Josh Allen is primed and ready to make it. Josh Allen has to be pissed at this point. So I'm going with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, not only to make the Super Bowl go up against the Eagles, but to win the whole fucking thing. I'm riding with Buffalo again this year. It's been a couple of years since I've been on the Buffalo hype train. I'm back on it because it's not going to be the Giants unless Jaden Daniels is Jesus Christ himself, or Jaden Daniels, unless Jackson Dart is Jesus Christ himself. It's not happening this season, but that doesn't mean my hope isn't up, and I may or may not pick the Giants to win the NFC East next year.
I will say this: we disagree on a few things with the Final Four. First off, I hate to say it, it's consistent. I have my AFC championship as Bills. There he goes. We're going to talk, guys. I know. I know. All right. I know no one wants to hear shit, but it's going to happen.
No one wants to hear this shit.
It's going to happen, but I will say this. I'm still picking Buffalo to win because I think the AFC West is too stacked. Kansas City is only going to win maybe one playoff game, and I think it's just the divisional. And in the AFC championship, they're just going to be hopefully speaking, two battered down. Buffalo's just going to hopefully run shop on them, and I think Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. And the other flip side is I also had Eagles. Well,
what are slower? Get off your knees.
But wait, I'm glazing Slower more because I think the Packers will go to the Super Bowl.
What is happening?
But
all right,
I think Buffalo easily wins the game.
Hold on.
Does Slower talk to you?
Hold on. Okay, somewhere in there, definitely got a thumbnail for this. All right, go on.
But yeah, no, I think the reason being is we don't usually see repeat champions or repeat from the Super Bowl. I think Chiefs Eagle was that anomaly where it's just they both show up 2 of the last 3 years. I think eventually, you saw with the Niners kept going to either the Super Bowl or NFC Championship game, and eventually that season wear and tear, that long season, it catches up quicker than you realize. And I think that's what's going to happen with both the Chiefs and the Eagles. So I think honestly, I can see even Baltimore capitalizing, but I think it's going to be the Bills and the Packers, only because I really just don't believe anyone. Honestly, the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, but I think eventually something's going to slip up, and I think the Packers are most primed to do it.
I like Jordan Love a lot, but I just don't think he's ready for that step quite yet. But
I'm not saying he's gonna win like hands. I think he's just gonna get lucky.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. All right, hey guys, Nick's Picks season 6 is back. We did toy with the idea of this being a live show, just wasn't quite prepared for that yet. But at some point, even some point this season, this might end up being a live show. So stick around, make sure your notifications are on, make sure you're dropping a like on all of these, make sure you're commenting down below, and make sure you're subscribed. Because if you guys don't know, with all the other content that we've been pumping out, because I know, first time in a Nick's Pick season where Nick's Picks isn't the only fucking videos I have to edit because I'm actually pumping out other videos. In all those other videos that you've seen, you may have saw that I'm giving away a CGC 10 graded Pokemon Japanese card to somebody in the comments as soon as we hit 500 subscribers. So if you like Pokemon cards, and as you can tell, we all do, we love Pokemon cards over here.
Just won me last time.
that one, yeah, if you watch that video, that one Ben, but I think
That's
overall
true. Than me, though.
I think overall I'm up.
Well, you know what? I got the gold card, so
drop a comment down below, make sure you subscribe so that you're entered in that giveaway, and we will see you guys in week 1 of the NFL season for Nick's Picks. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great one. Peace. Did you see me drop all my cards?
No. But also, I love how unintentionally we both were glazing the Packers and Slower. Slower is not going to let this down. You know, the moment we pick against the Packers, he's going to just go off like he always does.
On the bright side, they're all in top loaders, so sorry, I'm not listening to a word you're saying. I dropped like half of my cards.
This is what happens when Pokemon becomes your newest addiction.
Dude, I've spent too much money.